Hey guys, so Lloyd here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Colossus as he appears in the Age of Apocalypse storyline. This is, of course, the Build-A-Figure of his self-titled respected wave, and of course, kind of marks the end of this wave as far as reviews on this channel go. I still got to pick up Magneto at the time I'm recording this, but right now we do have Colossus, and I got to tell you, I think this guy's going to edge out Ursa Major for Build-A-Figure of 2021. Not quite sure yet, still got to do my top 10 Legends video, but I really like how this guy came out, even though it's not a design of Colossus I'm too familiar with, or really that into. I much prefer the more traditional look for Colossus, or, one of my own, but to each their own, I guess. But as far as accessories for this guy go, comes with some hands. So Cyclops is officially everyone's least favorite X-Men because he didn't get any accessories, and even the Build-A-Figure got accessories, which, granted, they're just some hands, but better than nothing. Better than nothing. Yeah, I would have liked a neutral head too, but beggars can't be choosers. And to be honest, I do like this kind of pissed off look he's got going on. Kind of looks like me when I get bad QC. Either way, really cool looking figure, man. Is this guy supposed to be like a pirate? He looks like some kind of psycho 90s pirate. 90s psycho pirate? Is that his new nickname? I think it is. So, 90s psycho pirate, Steel Man here. He's got a nice gunmetal color to the metal parts of his body. The hands. The face. But he's got like, how they do Raphael and Ninja Turtles now. He's got like the do-rag that goes over his eyes. Which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever designed a character with that kind of clothing before. Accessory. But that's a thought. I guess I could at some point. Shoulders. Well, I think they're sitting in the right spot. They seem a little small, but that's probably to compensate for this big honking shoulder pauldron here. I think, if anything, the anatomy is dang near perfect on this guy. Could have maybe benefited from some slightly bigger shoulders. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. Because the torso is great. The rest of the arms are great. The hands, the feet, the legs, they all look good. It's just the shoulders look a little bit peanutty. Other than that, this guy's got great proportions. He looks awesome on a shelf. The head sits right on the figure. He's got a little bit of lollipop there, but not as much as Rogue. Looked like her neck was broken by somebody. Like Apocalypse grabbed her by the throat and popped her head off like a cork. But, yeah, really, really cool looking figure. Suspenders, I guess, if that's what you want to call these. That or it's like Bane's tank top thing. This is a separate piece, so you can unbutton the belt here and remove this if you want. I'm not going to do that just to save time, but it can be done. He's got his little tassels on the back of his head, which do rotate. If you're careful and don't force anything. I would advise use soap and heat with this, much like the saber-tooth ponytails, because you don't want to break anything. And this is particularly flimsy. So while I do find it kind of hilarious that my good buddy T-Biz'd his, you gotta cut the man some slack. Go show him some love. Give him a sub. This is a fragile piece to begin with, so it's not really surprising that anyone has broken this that does toy reviews. I mean, let's be real here. I've done my share of breakage. Everyone else has to do theirs, right? But, yeah, it's a cool looking figure, man. So articulation on him. His head can look down pretty far. It will look up, but I advise you move the tassels out of the way so they don't hit against the back. They're still going to, but he can look up pretty far. He's got side-to-side rotation there, some tilt as well. The tassels on the back, they do rotate around, or the ribbon parts, whatever you want to call that. Shoulders, really tight. That's the one thing I will say about this guy, is that his joints are super tight. Albeit a little bit loose in the knees, but nothing too bad. They do go out to the side pretty far, back down. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double jointed elbow, which really just gives you 90. So nothing much there. I do believe they are pinless, though. So that's nice. They do appear to be pinless. That, or I just can't see the pins. And then he's got the hinge and the swivel. Or swivel and hinge, as I just did it. In the wrist, he's got an ab crunch that works quite well. Crunch all the way forward. Crunch back even with the suspenders. Not too shabby. He's got a waist twist. A little bit loose there, but it does stay in place, so nothing crazy there. Hips kick out to the side. A little bit better than some Spider-Man figures. That's kind of stupid, but whatever. They kick back down. He can kick forward. Can kick back. Nice tight thigh cuts. I like that. You guys know me. I always prefer the thigh cuts to be nice and tight. Whereas on my Venom Pool, they were loose. I had to replace the legs on him. Double jointed knee works fine. Again, the one side's a bit loose, but it might just be something to do with I had him pose for a little bit, and yeah. I had to put that piece on the heat duct to get it on. And then he also has the hinge in the ankle, which is really tight, as well as the rocker. No boot swivel. I'm surprised he doesn't have any kind of lower leg rotation, because they could have fit it in there, because he does have these bands going on. Like I would have said maybe right here. I think that's high enough for them to put it, but they did have to put the groove to kind of glue these front shin guard pieces on, so I guess there is that. But at any rate, I really dig this guy. He's super cool. I'm kind of glad I didn't jack mine's bandana up. I feel sorry for anyone who did, but at the end of the day, there are certain techniques to avoid that, and it'd be best to do them when something like that, at least, is as flimsy as it is. So, buyer beware, you've been warned by a man who has broken plenty of crap in his time here on the YouTubes. But, at any rate, with that being said, it's time now that we take a look at some comparisons. First up here is Colossus, next to the rest of the Colossus Build-A-Figure wave that I've already taken a look at thus far on the channel, with the exception of Magneto, who I do not have yet. Of course, that's why he hasn't already been reviewed, hasn't he? But, with that being said, on the right, we got my favorites of the wave. We have Sabretooth, Iceman, and Kitty Pryde, who you may or may not see in my top 10 Legends of the Year list tomorrow. I'll be going up tomorrow because I think I got enough to pull it off. We'll see. But on the left is, of course, my least favorites, which really Rogue is the only figure I flat up like, nah, with in this wave, just because of the way her head sits on the neck there. Cyclops, I'll let him slide, even though his boots are not accurate. He should have yellow boots and some knee pads going on. And Legion's a more fun figure than I thought he'd be, just of a character that looks kind of ridiculous and stupid and I don't really care about. So, at the end of the day, this isn't a bad wave. I would say this is arguably better than the Sugarman wave, which had Dark Beast and Sunfire in it, which, you guys watch this channel, you know how much I liked those figures. But as a whole, I think the Age of Apocalypse collection is looking quite nice so far. It'd be nice if we saw a re-release of the Nemesis/Holocaust Build-A-Figure. You know me, I love big, scary-looking skeleton dudes, and that dude definitely fits the bill. Also, an AOA-style Gambit or Storm would be nice, but only time will tell. Next up, here he is next to a couple other really solid Build-A-Figures we got in the year 2121. Anyone get that song reference? Probably not. But one of which is actually a work in progress. Yeah, Armadillo's not quite complete yet. Still missing that J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, but at any rate, he can at least stand tall next to these other two amazing Build-A-Figures. The other one, of course, being Ursa Major, which if his articulation wasn't so clunky, I think I would probably have him as my favorite Baff of the year. But it's looking like Colossus here is going to take that medal. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, and the Elephant Spawn, who, well, unlike usual, ain't towering over everyone today. Sorry, Spawn, but you're just not taller than a Baff. But with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do know that Age of Apocalypse is kind of a mixed bag for most people, including myself, I'm going to be honest here and say that I really dig this version of Colossus. I know it's something different, but sometimes that's not always a bad thing. That, and if you really wanted to, you could probably make a custom, more traditional style, really badass looking Colossus out of this figure. Again, if you really wanted to. But as it stands, aside from the kind of do-rag headband piece being a little bit on the fragile side, and that's not Italian either, I don't really have any complaints with this figure. All the parts that plug into it, you know, the Build-A-Figure part of it, are really solid. Comes with an alternate set of hands, and I actually really dig the face sculpt. I know some people would have liked a neutral face sculpt. Maybe that would have been nice to get that and a headband piece that was maybe more relaxed, but as it stands, I'm perfectly okay with putting this guy on my shelf as is. So with that being said, I would highly recommend you try and track this guy down if you're into the Age of Apocalypse storyline, or you just like cool redesigns of really cool characters. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one, because we've got to show that algorithm who's boss right. And with that said, stay tuned for tomorrow's video, which is going to be my top 10 favorite Marvel Legends of 2021. I know I'm a bit late to the game on that, but better late than never, I always say. And yeah, I would say look forward to seeing this guy in that video in some way or another. But if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. As always, keep your comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.